Two small stone heads, unearthed in an ordinary garden. What followed? A wave of unexplained phenomena, hauntings, a wolfman, and a mystery that refuses to die. Were the Hexham Heads ancient Celtic relics, or something far more sinister? In 1971, in the quiet town of Hexham, England, two young brothers, Colin and Leslie Robson, were digging in their backyard garden when they uncovered something strange. Two small stone heads, each small enough to fit in the palm of a hand. They looked broken at the neck, like they'd once been part of something larger, something long lost to time. The heads had hollow, staring eyes. One appeared to have braided hair down the back, while the other seemed to resemble a woman, male and female, two halves of something ancient. Amused by their find, the boys brought the heads inside. Then the strange activity began. Objects moved on their own, doors creaked open without a touch, items fell with no one nearby. Family members reported the eerie sensation of being watched. But it wasn't just them. The neighbours, the Dodd family, seemed to suffer the worst of it. One of the Dodd children claimed her hair was yanked violently by invisible hands. And then came the most unsettling moment. The Robson children said they had seen a creature, half man, half animal, roaming the hallway at night. Word spread quickly. People started wondering if the strange events were connected to the discovery of the heads. Soon, an academic named Dr. Anne Ross took interest. A respected Celtic scholar, she believed the heads might be ancient relics, connected to pre-Roman pagan practices. Curious, and not one to shy away from investigation, Dr. Ross brought the stones home to study them. At the time, she didn't believe in the paranormal. Not really. But what happened next changed her view completely. Soon after the Hexham Heads entered her home, strange things began to happen. Objects moved on their own, doors opened and closed. Footsteps echoed through empty rooms. The daughter claimed she was being followed by something she couldn't see, a presence that loomed. And then one night, Dr. Ross saw it, a tall figure, half man, half beast. It had the head of a wolf, but stood upright, human in shape. It walked silently past her bedroom door and vanished. She began to question whether it was a hallucination, until her daughter returned home, alone, and saw the same thing. She opened the front door, and in the hallway stood a shadowy figure, vaguely human, but also not. A creature with the head of a wolf walking like a man. Two separate sightings, two terrified witnesses, describing the same impossible thing. After that, Dr. Ross no longer saw the heads as simple artifacts. She was convinced these stones were more than relics. They were something else entirely. After Dr. Ross and her daughter's terrifying encounter, the Hexham Heads didn't vanish. Instead, they began to circulate, passing between curious minds. One of those minds was a scientist named Don Robbins. Intrigued by their strange reputation, he took an interest in what he called their possible paranormal properties. Robbins wasn't just dabbling in ghost stories. He was researching something called the stone tape theory, the idea that stone can somehow absorb emotions, memories, or traumatic events, and play them back under the right conditions. To him, the Hexham Heads were perfect test subjects, strange artifacts with a growing list of unexplained phenomena. Robbins conducted his own investigations. He also claimed to experience strange occurrences while the heads were in his possession, and he displayed one of the heads on the cover of his book, The Secret Language of Stone. But eventually, the heads changed hands once more, and then they vanished. No one knows who has them now, or if they're hidden, or if they've simply been lost. All that remains are the stories that they left behind. Whispers of fear, sightings of creatures, and the eerie silence that followed. Just when the mystery seemed to deepen, it all hit a wall, a concrete wall, if you will. In 1974, a man named Des Craigie stepped into the story with a bucket of cement and a confession. He claimed that he had made the Hexham Heads, not in ancient times, but in his home workshop. According to Craigie, the heads were toys that he had handmade for his children using standard concrete and a simple mould. He said his family had lived in the same house as the Robsons before they moved in. At first glance, it seemed like a neat resolution. The heads weren't cursed relics, just forgotten garden toys, mistaken for something supernatural. But there were cracks in the story. Craigie was never able to recreate the heads exactly, and his pouring technique didn't match the originals. Experts pointed out that the Hexham Heads appeared to be carved from stone, not cast in a mould. The texture, the tool marks, the density of the material, none of it lined up. Some believed he was just looking for attention. Others suspected pressure, maybe from someone who wanted the mystery to be put to rest. Whatever the truth, it didn't stick. The sightings, the paranormal activity, the wolf-headed figure in the hallway, those things couldn't be explained away by a bucket of cement. So what are the theories? Some believe the Hexham Heads are ancient relics, possibly Celtic, dating back over 1,000 years. Supporters point out their facial features, similarity to other ancient carvings, and the region's links to pre-Roman pagan practices. Could the heads have been used in rituals? Possibly. Researchers like Robbins and Ross believe the heads might act as psychometric objects, holding emotional or spiritual energy waiting to be reawakened. Their presence seemed to coincide with paranormal activity, apparitions, goatmen, wolfmen, and so on. If the heads were saturated with emotional residue, maybe they triggered latent psychic reactions, or opened a door to something else entirely. Dr. Ross and her daughter both saw the same figure. Shared visions like that are rare and rather unsettling. Then again, maybe it was all just coincidence. Skeptics argue the heads were concrete toys, and everything else was fueled by suggestion and fear. Reggie's confession, while flawed, still appeals to logic. Maybe there was no curse, no spirits, just human imagination doing what it does best. Filling in the blanks. But that doesn't explain the shared experiences, the strange behavior across households, or the head's final unexplained disappearance. The Hexham Heads were unearthed by chance. Two small stone faces, silent for who knows how long, until the soil gave them up and the world started paying attention. What followed was a whirlwind of eerie phenomena, shifting theories, and vanishing evidence. Ghosts, werewolves, visions, shared hallucinations, or shared truth. To this day, the Hexham Heads remain missing. Where they are, or what they're doing, no one knows. Some say they were stolen, some say they were destroyed, and others believe they're simply waiting to be found again. Maybe by you. Maybe by someone who won't ignore the whisper in the dark. Because some mysteries don't want to be solved, they just want to be remembered. But anyway, that's all the time I have for this mystery. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.